Eyes are an organ essential for vision. They give us the ability to see the world and every little thing which comes in contact with it. It scans the things around us and then processes it through its complex system to provide us with a visual. The ability to see is essential for human beings and animals. It lets us perform numerous tasks and lets us see the world in its beautiful colors. Anatomy. The eye doesn't just consist of the parts we can observe by our vision. Rather, it consists of many layers and other added parts which lay behind our muscles and skull. They all play an important role for our vision and sight. As you can see the image in front of you, there are so many veins and muscles and layers behind your pupil and your lens that you see from the outside. Now the real question is, how do we see? What's the process? Step 1. You wake up in the morning and open your eyes wide. Your eyelids will lift up and light will quickly enter the cornea. Cornea is the clear dome-shaped front surface of the eye, which the light will pass through. The cornea will bend the light, which will help the eye to focus. You can also think of this as the lens of a camera, which as soon as uncovered will be hit by light, and light will pass through its lens. Step 2. As soon as light has passed through the cornea, the iris will come in place. Light would need to pass through the pupil, which is a small round shape in the eye, as you can see in the middle. The iris would control the quantity of light which would pass through the pupil. It can decrease or increase the quantity of light according to the conditions. This can also be seen as the aperture of a camera. The aperture controls the amount of light which would be processed by adjusting the size of that little opening in that lens. Step 3. After the light has passed through the pupil, it will now pass through a lens. The lens is situated behind the pupil, as seen in the picture. A process called accommodation will take place in the lens, which will further focus the objects seen by our eye, and will also help the light reach the retina. Step 4 and 5. After being processed through multiple parts of the eye, the light will finally reach the retina. Retina is a thin layer of tissue in the back of our eye. It is a very sensitive and light tissue which will use photoreceptor cells to turn the light into electrical signals. It can also be seen as the sensor of a camera, which converts the images to electrical signals for it to be stored in the storage card. Then, these electrical signals will be captured by the optic nerve and transported to the brain, also known as the visual cortex. Step number 6, and lastly, the visual cortex will then convert the electrical signals into images. These images are what we will see at the very end of the process. It's everything around us. They are the final products. What I told you right now is only a quarter, maybe even less of what actually happens. There are so many other cells, parts, and processes involved that help us see every single day. Our eyes can distinguish more than 10 million different colors. It's the fastest contracting muscle in our body. It can contract in less than 1/100th of a second. It consists of 2 million working parts, and will focus on 50 different objects every single second. And 80% of all learning comes through our eyes. It's a blessing that helps us see the beautiful things and colors of our planets. It's a blessing from Allah. Alhamdulillah.